Yo! Okay, so time for a new video. Yeah, I was supposed to do this earlier, but had to go and replace my charger because my previous one packed up. So apologies for it being a bit late, but better late than never. So yeah, I've got a few things to talk about because a lot has happened in the past week. So I thought, yeah, why not do a video on it? So the title of this video is going to be called "To All You White Knight Simps and Feminists Out There." Now, before I get into this video, the most scary thing about this is that there's more people in the world that exist as one of those things as opposed to somebody that's completely unbiased and none of them things, which is what I class myself as, somebody that's completely unbiased. And yeah, and what I mean by that is it's very, very rare that you will go on the internet nowadays and share your bad experiences with women, such as them leading you on, them fucking you over, them playing games with you, or simply you going over and trying to speak to a woman normally and her giving you attitude, which is strange because how many times do we hear that a man can't meet a woman or get a girlfriend because he's got a bad attitude or a negative attitude? But if you've watched these videos where I've approached women, a lot of them have got bad attitude and they're rude and entitled, but all of that stuff gets dismissed, which is strange. It's like no matter what black and white evidence you show of women doing any kind of wrongdoing, they completely make up excuses for them, such as they've changed their minds, you don't know what they're going through, or they will be adamant that said woman has not led you on purpose, even when it's in black and white evidence. And it's mad, and throughout the whole sort of debate that you're having with somebody about this, you're just thinking that me and you both know if this was a man doing wrong, we wouldn't be hearing any of these excuses. So it is very much because they're a woman. And my whole problem is not because, it's because they completely dismiss people's struggles. I have shown these people black and white evidence and they still nod their head and deny it. Which I don't know how somebody could possibly do that unless they are by definition delusional, but they still do. You can show women having attitude problems, leading you on, and they will just nod their head and be like, nah, change their mind, completely dismiss it. So there's no getting through to these people, even though you have evidence of what women have done, which is strange why they don't take accountability. It's not the worst thing, it is pretty shitty, leading someone on and playing games, but it's not the worst thing ever. So I don't know why they don't just own it and take accountability, because I very much think that if people wasn't completely, if somebody was completely unbiased, they would sit there and say, you was wrong on this one, you was right on this one, you was right on that one, you was wrong on that one. But the fact that they don't think women are ever wrong in any of them screenshots I have showed is very, 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 very concerning. And what's very concerning is they've all got the same excuses for them. They've changed their minds. But me and you both know that all of them women, there was at least a lot of them that led me on purpose. It's clear as day. I don't know why people keep making excuses for them. For example, when I was on Lex's podcast last week, I was telling them about some woman that I met last week, and we was talking, and she had blatantly led me on, and I had clear black and white evidence, and they were like, nah, probably just changed their mind. I was like, really, bro? Really? Like, they wouldn't even admit that the person just simply led you on. So I mean, it's very scary if they can't even take such a small accountability for doing something. Yeah, the world's fucked, to be honest with you. And like I said, me and you both know that if it was a man doing wrong, yeah, they'd just call him a prick, wouldn't they? Quite simple. They wouldn't be having all of these excuses that he's changed his mind and all of that. So when you actually, think of it like that, it is because it is a woman. It's not because they're right or they're wrong. Even if somebody said to me, like I said, you're wrong 7 times out of 10 and they're wrong 3 times out of 10, I'd be like, okay, that's an opinion. But the fact that they never think any of these women are wrong is mental, absolutely mental. I don't know what else to say. And yeah, and then the thing about it is you just end up feeling like the boy who cried wolf, because anyone who's thinking about having a debate or jumping on a podcast when it comes to like women and sharing your experiences, I would strongly advise against it, because all they're going to do is keep dismissing your struggles, no matter what you tell them, what you show them, what you prove. And in the end, you're just going to come out the podcast thinking to yourself, well, you might as well just had an argument with a brick wall, because you would have just got more sense out of a brick wall. It generally feels like you are the boy who cried wolf, because no matter what you show them, how you try to make them understand, they will still make excuses for women. So, which is very, very, very strange. Another strange thing of what they say is that, oh, well, people can't find a woman because they're negative. And to that I always say, this whole thing has been going for years, is that people are not born negative. People don't come into this world negative for no reason, because that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So you think that people are just going to just come out and be negative for no reason? I would probably imagine that they're negative after their bad experiences. And when you keep going over the same thing over and over and over and over again, it does get quite annoying, which is why I say to people, just don't even bother, because there's no getting through to these people. They clearly think women are angels. They clearly think women can't do no wrong, so leave them to it. That's that. Weird, very, very weird, but that's just the way it is. Very, very strange. You could prove the world to these people, but they will never ever hold a woman. And it's not even about being right or being wrong. It's not even really about that. They won't admit any wrongdoing that they do. They will never ever have it as, oh, woman's led you on. Oh, women play games with you. They will never, in their minds, they think that a woman possibly can't do that. That men can do it. I can assure you, men can do it, no problems. But the thought of a woman leading someone on, they can't have that. It drives them mad. They're like, well, no, they change their mind. It is mad. And you know, another thing that I find very, very strange is I was talking to someone and I said to them, yeah, I'm kind of giving up with the whole dating thing. And, you know, to be honest with you, it's toxic, and I don't want to deal with women's attitude anymore, and I shouldn't have to. And any man that respects themselves wouldn't have to, because, yeah, it's toxic. I mean, and that's obviously why I gave up. And then he turned around and he said to me, that's weak-minded. Now, bear in mind, I need to make this clear as well. Whenever I'm having like these debates or whatever with people, what I always think in my head is that obviously I'm in the minority when it comes to meeting women. I'm probably in the 5-10% of people that have met women, so I'm very, very aware of what they're like. You know, I've been up and down the country, I've met thousands of women, so I thought that was kind of offensive that he's saying to me that I'm weak-minded because I don't want to deal with toxic women all my life. I mean, that's my choice, and like I said, any man that respects themselves would do the same thing. Why are you constantly dealing with stuck-up women with attitude? Because you don't want to do that, that's not weak-minded, that's your choice. But then, hear me out, right? We're getting into double standards now, is that when a woman chooses the same man over and over and over again, the drug dealer, or the man that beats them up, or the man that cheats on them, and they want to give up based on the men that they choose, oh, they're angels. They're literally given, they get a silver spoon put in their mouth with all different flavours of porridges saying, oh, you go, gal, men are bad, men are bad. So a man that wants to, give up on dating for however long it is because of toxic women, he's considered weak-minded. But a woman that, will continuously choose the same man over and over again, the same deadbeat, the same drug dealer, and then wants to generalize all men and give up, she's considered a legend. It's not entirely fair, is it? Let's be real here. It's not entirely fair. Now, I just wanted to say, right, now, when these women go for these kind of men, I don't think that they know that they're going to beat them up. Let's be adults about this. I don't think, you know, the women that go with men that beat them up know they're going to beat them up, because that's ridiculous. You know, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. But however, what I will say is, these women that go with these men, they know they're no good. They know that they're no good. You know, maybe a drug dealer, maybe, you know, a dickhead, maybe a bad person. Again, bad and not abusive. They are very, very, very aware of what these men are like. You know, minus the fucking, you know, physical abuse, of course. I don't think people just go, no, they're not going to get beat up by someone. But they're attracted to the same kind of dickhead, arsehole men. They all seem to go for the same stereotypical man, but then they moan and whinge about it. I've never ever understood it. And then when they want to give up on men, they literally are called legends. Yet you'll get a man that can't find any good women no matter what he tries, keep dealing with toxic women that play the same games over and over again. But when he wants to give up, he's weak-minded. You know, just listen to that, bro. That is completely insane. And you know, and all of these women that try to say to you that, oh, the men are nice at first, it's complete rubbish. I can tell you from my experience, right, the amount of times that I have approached women, and I'm probably the most down-to-earth person that they'll ever come across, and they will say the truth in writing that, you know, you're this, you're that, you're sweet, but they still won't give you a chance. Which, again, I don't mind. I don't expect them to. But if I was using this as an example in comparison to what they're saying, it doesn't make sense. Because if they were really going for nice people, you'd be getting women all the time giving you the chance. At least giving you the chance. But the fact that they keep going for these same stereotypical men, trust me, these women know exactly what these men are like. You know, they're not stupid. So don't try and tell you that, you know, yeah, like I said, they might not beat them up. They might not know that they're going to get beaten up. Yeah, obviously not. But they know that these men are no good. So that's what makes me laugh is when women moan about men being all the same, it's all the men that they keep going for. You understand? When I moan about women, it's all the women I've ever come across. Not women that I'm choosing. Men that they're choosing. Big difference. So that's that. And another weird thing I find is that the oral thing again. I never ever understand this, and I don't think anyone's ever gave an answer to it. That when you say, for example, like I was having this conversation the other day with someone, and it's like, oh, you didn't go down on that woman, that means you're gay. But when they don't want to give people blowjobs, completely fine. That's just what they like. So again, if a woman doesn't want to give somebody a blowjob, completely fine. Completely, oh, they just don't want to, you know, do that. But if a man doesn't want to eat a woman out, gay, completely gay. That automatically means you like dick. So if you come across a woman that you've met once and you don't want to give her oral for whatever reason, maybe you're just not into oral, I don't know, maybe she smells or whatever, you automatically like dick. Their logic is that you automatically like dick. But yeah, if a woman doesn't want to give a blowjob, well, maybe she just doesn't feel like doing it. How they can deny in this day and age that they're not completely sexist and the double standards is mad is beyond me. It, you know, it generally is beyond me how they can sit there and deny the shit. You know, it is crazy. You know, the amount of excuses that they make for these women is mad. It's completely mad. Because let's put it right here, right? Say that I am wrong, you know, 9 times out of 10. What, you're telling me not one time any of these women in the screenshot were wrong? And then there was a woman that I was speaking to, obviously that you saw on Reddit, completely fine. And then as soon as I started showing the women doing me over, leading me on, she hated it. She started sending me voice notes. She argued with me all day. And then she said at the end, which is funny, is that, don't get me wrong, women can do wrong. I said, huh? You've literally just been arguing with me for the past 45 minutes, right? Saying how all of these women have not led me on when I've literally proved that they have led me on. But now you're saying that all women can't be wrong. So which one is it? Heads or tails? What side of the coin are you? It's mental. It is absolutely mental why these people think that women can't do no wrong. and they can't simply lead people on purpose, or I don't know why they think that. Even when they're shown evidence, even when they're shown black and white evidence, they still deny it. I shall never know. And yeah, it's mad. Like I said, if you don't want to go down on a woman, you're automatically gay. You automatically like dick. But yet when a woman doesn't want to give oral, well, that's her choice. Sickening, really, isn't it? Sickening how these amount of double standards exist. You know, it's insane. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, man. So yeah.